Hello, gentlemen. Welcome. It's
Hola.
Confidently Wrong After Dark.
Whoa. We got to put on the grown and sexy voices.
Oh, whoa. What is that called where like you do the scratchy scratchies and it's like low whisperings?
The scratchies?
Yeah.
Are you suggesting I should scratch something?
No, there's like a
It's the Sweat
genre.
Hotel.
There's a genre of like I don't know if it's fetish or something where it's like you like talk real close to the mic.
ASMR.
Anyways,
Oh yeah.
ASMR.
ASMR. I don't even know what that sounds like or
Quiet
what it stands for.
Storm.
Yeah.
Quiet Storm was the first on ASMR, I gotta say.
I don't even know what Quiet Storm is, but great.
okay,
It sounds awesome. All right, so we're confidently wrong after dark because we're actually recording this way later than we normally do. Usually we get up in the morning, we're fresh, we've had our coffee or our tea, and I don't drink coffee, but you know, we've got the whole day ahead of us. But in this one, the schedule worked out. We're recording at night. Big sports weekend here in Austin. We just had the F1 Formula One Grand Prix was here this weekend, and University of Texas shit the bed against UGA. They were the number 1 seeded college team. And then playoffs in baseball are popping off. Playoffs in WNBA is going crazy. NFL is right in the middle of their season. So if you're a sports fan, now is a great time to just be kind of bouncing around. NBA season is about to start. I'm into it. Savon, how was your Sunday today?
it was a lovely day. I went apple picking with some friends.
Ooh, apple bacon.
Was that Norman Rockwell, bro? Like you just
like an
all American experience.
At Trader Joe's?
Apples with no, at a farm out in like Armada, about an hour outside Detroit. But yeah, this place, Blake's Apple Orchard. They have a huge farm. They got potatoes,
shout out to Blake's.
And pumpkins and apples and all kinds of stuff like that. They have all kinds of apple cider stuff. So you can go to the cider mill and see them make the apple cider, buy gallons of it, apple cinnamon donuts, lots of hard cider as well. And various types of that. So it was a lovely day.
I'm just imagining you stretching up your right arm and then picking an apple from the very top of the tree, and then crushing it with your bare hands and like drinking the juice and being like, apple cider. Was that your experience?
Besides the last part, but the like actual reaching up giraffe style, picking an apple, absolutely.
Okay.
No,
1 for 2.
You didn't need the pull.
Yeah, you didn't need the special apple
people. I was summoning my people. Savon, I need you to get this apple. I'm like, all right, hold on, people, hold on.
They didn't give you the.
You just shook the whole tree for them.
No, there's no thing, Wes. You gotta do what?
Yeah, no, there's a contraption. It's on.
Absolutely not. No, you go yourself.
They didn't give you a contraption.
No, it's a whole farm. It's like there's no contraption.
Yeah,
it's
on the farm. Like any place where you go apple picking, they'll give you this. It's like a basket with like a little claw on the end, and it
on a long
pulls
stick.
the apple down. Yeah.
What kind of weenie hut nonsense is that? No.
Well, for 5'5" people, it's essential.
You get it how you live.
Because there will be no apples.
Yeah.
This is evolution. You eat what you can reach. Damn it. And I was eating good, baby.
I don't think the farm would make much money if it only catered to 6'4" people and above. I'm not
talking
sure.
about the farm catering. I'm talking about nature catering, baby. Look,
yes, for nature.
I'm simply
absolutely.
built different, and I was obtaining a large amount of apples, and I have a lot.
It's like Easter egg hunting, where it's like the bigger kid just like pushes everybody out of the way and grabs all of the Easter eggs. That's Savon right now, just hoarding all of the apple. Like he's literally got an apple right in front of him, like the Snow White witch, like just glistening, ready to,
How many apples did you walk away with? Do you have like big bushels of apples? That's
did
the
you have
only
to throw
time
some
you can
back?
use that word.
You hit your limit, it's like fishing.
Definitely got like 20 plus apples, I think.
Oh, that's too many.
I'm gonna make a pie.
Okay,
that's right. That's exactly
perfect
what you
amount then.
Yeah, but it was
or
a nice
cobbler.
Weekend. Yeah. But what about y'all,
Brian, what'd you up to this weekend?
I was not picking any apples, but
you live in the Big Apple, though.
I live in the Big Apple, and I'm trying to make a basketball metaphor with apples, but I don't know any. I was trying to think like I was raining down apples. No, I was splashing at. No, it doesn't work.
It's okay.
I was hooping. I was hooping this morning.
Oh,
with our good friend Z, not friend of the show, but a friend of ours.
You're gonna be so sore tomorrow.
Oh, I'm like sore right now. I'm walking like penguin all over my apartment. I'm that sore. But it was a good run. Our homie Z was was dishing and swishing, and I was doing my part from the outside, playing the perimeter role.
It's like a
we had
Clyde
a good time.
Fraserism there.
That's right. That's right.
I like it.
Praise the legend.
Nice. And then, are you going to talk about your other foray in what we're loving on next show?
Yes,
I don't want to spoil it. Okay.
I will talk about my other foray.
Okay, your other adventure.
Other show.
Nice.
Many adventures this weekend to share.
Sounds good. This weekend I dealt with a throwing up kid all day yesterday. It was not as bad as it sounded. Like sometimes when like kids throw up, it can be like horrendous, right?
Trust me, it was as bad as it sounded. There's no version of that that's not as bad.
No, there's some winning happening here. That was despite the poor circumstances.
She was throwing up money.
He was throwing up like her hands.
Yeah,
raise the roof. No, so this is Kaya. She's 3 years old, and like kids can be really terrible when they're puking. I mean, it can be like all over everything, beds, dressers, car seats are like impossible to clean when they've thrown up. We've had that situation happen before. Couches, the floor, whatever, right? Like you can just throw up and it's everywhere on anything, and like anything is fair game if it's below like 2 feet, just that is going to be covered in goop. And yesterday we really escaped fairly unscathed. I mean, there's a few moments where like the couch got some puke on it and stuff like that, but 2 minutes. This is the window that I got fortuitous enough to have happen. It was literally 2 minutes. So I took Kaya to my school yesterday. I happened to need something at school. She looked like she was feeling okay. And we get there, and there's a robotics competition going on from some of the kids. So we go check it out. I show Kaya some of the robots, introduced to the kids. She's doing great. She's very shy, and totally fine. Everything is going great. And the scrimmage ends, and we're like, okay, well, let's go, to my room, to my classroom. I got to pick up a few like things that I forgot at school to bring back home so I can work on them. And we get into the room. I turn on the lights. I'm like, hey, look at the lights. Like I've got like Christmas lights set up in my room. And she was like, oh, those are cool. And then I'm starting to get some of the things that I need, and I hear, oh, and I'm like, huh, what is this? And I was like, are you gonna throw up? And she's like, So like we're like standing.
Absolutely.
We're standing 1 foot away from the trash can in my room. It's got a bag in it. It is, and I get the trash can right in front of her face. She just like hurls into this trash can. It smelled terrible, by the way, but it hurls into the trash can. Didn't get anything on her shirt. No pukage on the floor. Nothing. Like if it had been 2 minutes earlier, she would have been puking all over the gym. If it had been 2 minutes later, she would have been puking all over the hallway because we would have been going home. And if it had been 5 minutes later, she would have been puking all over the car. So like, oh my God, it was like the perfect, if you're going to puke, it was the perfect window of pukage for me. Cause I had no mess to clean up. It was A+, amazing. Like no notes.
If you call that winning, I want to know what the hell losing looks like to you.
Bro, losing is bad. Losing is, there's puke in the bed, and it's all over her, and it's in her hair, and we're just throwing everything away. That's what losing looks like.
I feel like losing would be her puking into the other baby's mouth, and that baby starts puking, and
that
then
can
puking
happen
into your mouth, and then you start puking.
Can
and
we
then
please
chain puking. Yes.
Yeah.
All right,
that wouldn't be great.
I'm sorry I asked how your weekend was. What are we talking about today?
Today, we are talking about Halloween. Spooky Halloween. Kaya goes, how do you, I would go, she's just like on our walk, and she'll just all of a sudden be like, Happy Halloween. Like, what? Where is this demon voice coming from?
Like
so you know where it's coming from.
So we're talking about Halloween. We've had a few Halloween episodes in the past. I don't remember any of them, but I'm sure we've done it.
Something about Halloween candy, I think we did.
I talked about candy.
Oh yeah, we did.
Costumes.
You put
costumes that
didn't you put candy corns or whatever on the list?
Oh yeah, boy, the streets were red with my blood.
That's awful.
The streets were after me. People were
you should have taken. We should have put you on.
You said that was one of the best candy. Was that what it
I don't know
was?
what
Is
I
that what
said,
made
but I
people livid?
definitely
That makes me
Yes.
I
livid.
made a
That's
lot
terrible.
of people upset with the candy corn
Terrible.
take, bro. The streets was not fucking with
Talk
that.
We
about
should've-
puking.
You needed a hiatus after that one for sure. You were
People-
feeling
Yeah,
yourself too much.
that's a timeout, man.
People were not feeling that take. That was one of those. All right, man. Let me go chill for a
And
second.
one year we got Werewolf by Night. I think that was maybe 2 years ago. That was pretty cool. Like we got to talk about
Yeah.
that around Halloween.
That was fun.
That's a good
what
watch.
what a fun surprise. If
sweet
you haven't
watching.
seen it, yeah, go back and watch it. They released it in color and I haven't checked that one out. I'm like, why would I want to see it
I
in
don't
color?
want that.
Yeah, I don't want the color version.
Yeah, the black and white one was just like so good. I don't know why you'd want that in color. But anyways, I wanted to first open up. We haven't really talked about this. Like, are you into Halloween? Is it your kind of holiday? And if, what is one memory that either of you has from your history with Halloween? Savon, I want to hear about your Halloween,
I love Halloween
feelings.
I love Halloween. Like
You
as
love
a
it.
kid, love it as
Okay.
an adult. It's just a fun excuse to get creative and dress up and turn up and party and do stuff with your friends. And
Nice.
Like, why would you not want to do those things?
For sure. And there's
As a
candy
kid,
involved.
As a kid, I kept it generic, and there was, just lots of just being a ninja. A lot of years,
Oh,
I
nice.
was a ninja, like enough to where my mom was like, "You gonna be a ninja again?" And she would joke. Even now, she's like, "Yep, you was a ninja like blah years in a row." I'm like, "Damn right, ninjas are cool." As an adult, got to be creative. But if we're talking fun memories, me and a group of friends one year, we were all superheroes. And
Wait,
year,
is that just so your friends could be like, "What's up, my ninja," and like get away with that like everywhere you were at?
Moving on, because I associate with black people, and
Ninja
so
Hot J.
we're not doing that. We don't need proxies. But, fun one would probably be a year me and friends were all superheroes. That year I was Static. Yeah. Another friend was Gambit. Another friend was Storm. Another was Wonder Woman. We just had a really vicious just lineup of homemade superhero. And then one year I was Rick James. That year was also really, really fun.
Oh, that's
you were
a
Rick
good
James.
One. Yeah, that's a good one.
Tyler was
in which outfit?
I just have to find a picture.
Yeah,
it was like I'll just find a picture.
Send us a picture. We want to see this.
I'll send it to you.
Was it the one with the braids, like with the bang braids?
No,
was it Dave Chappelle style Rick James?
Ish. I'll just find a picture. And
Okay, send it to us.
But yeah, I love Halloween.
Check out our social for that one.
That's awesome. Yeah, we want to put that on the socials for sure. And Brian, what is your relationship with Halloween?
Oh, I am a fan. I am a lover of Halloween.
Okay.
It might be one of the holidays for me. I love the like Christmas holiday season as a vibe, but Halloween is like, yo, that's time to turn up, right? And part of it is really just from adulthood. I wasn't that big into Halloween as a kid. Like, sure, I went trick-or-treating, whatever. Stopped doing any of that probably by the time I was a teenager. Yeah. But once you move to a place like New York City in your 20s, or like any city that has
New Orleans,
has like a lively nightlife, and you're like, oh, adult Halloween, where everyone is in wild costumes and just like getting drunk and partying, and like some people are wearing very tasteful things, and some people are not wearing tasteful things, and that is all part of the fun. And I'm totally about that. Every like Halloween in New York is just incredible. Like I do think it's very special, a special place to be at, because there's so many damn creatives in New York who really go all out with their homemade costumes. Like I have seen like the wildest stuff. I've seen people do like the Edward Munch Scream painting, and they're like holding a canvas of the actual painting and their face in it. I've seen people do like the claw machine, and build an actual claw machine that kind of works, and their head
around
is
their
one
body.
Of the prizes that you get from the claw machine. It's like take Comic-Con cosplay, but expand it to the entire city.
Because it could be anything,
and be anything, and like people pick the best stuff. People pick the best stuff in New York, so it's a grand old time. And I'm still trying to figure out what I'm gonna be this year for Halloween.
So taking suggestions?
Now I do a couple costumes with Anna.
Nice.
I think the last time around we did like a Addams Family thing, which was a big hit. We stopped to take a lot of fan photos. That's how you know you're winning Halloween.
Which of the Addams Family were you?
I was Gomez Addams, but I had made a paper mache thing, right? The hand that was sitting on my shoulder. And then
Nice.
Anna was not Morticia because she's short and works better as Wednesday Addams.
Oh, nice.
So she was Wednesday Addams, but she was also holding a cousin It, she took a hula skirt and like put sunglasses on it and was like carrying it around. So it was like cousin It was hanging out with her. So we look like 4 characters from Addams Family.
That's vicious.
That's
and
awesome.
we did it right. So
that's nice.
if anybody has suggestions for us what we should do this year, I'm all ears.
Wait,
maybe we should be a pair of ears. Wouldn't that be fun?
A pair of no, don't do that. Wait, but
an ear and a Q-tip. I'll let you guess which one of us will be the Q-tip.
Anna. What is? Wait, could you be like Uncle Fester? Was anybody Uncle Fester in your group?
No, it's just the 2 of us.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
2 people being
He's classic.
Impressive as it is.
Uncle Fester is classic. My relationship with Halloween. I don't know if I said this before. I am not into Halloween. I didn't.
It involves fun and creativity.
Maybe
Big surprise.
Maybe I'm a fuddy duddy, but I didn't.
Absolutely.
As a kid, I didn't like. I just felt self-conscious all the time, like wearing these costumes, and I was just like, I don't feel comfortable in this. It's not my everyday thing. I don't know. I don't know. It was, yeah. So that's me. And then I'm not.
And then you did not go to a big city.
No, New Orleans has a big like holiday festivities. Like there's always parties and stuff like that. But I just tended not to like get into that as much. But definitely could have. Just wasn't. I don't know. I was not that into it, and Jen's not that into it, so it ends up being that. It's kind of cool having kids.
But now you got kids.
Yeah.
So what's your strategy there?
Well, this year I don't think I'm going to do anything that's related, but we'll see. We'll might get a little something going. Sometimes
You're
we dress
not
up
gonna make magical memories for your kids.
He's not going to dress up with his daughter because he doesn't want to be self-conscious about how he looks.
I need you to go all
a little bit
in a way that would shock your children.
Oh,
like
okay.
You got to go like Frankenstein monster, green
makeup,
cover your face.
Memory.
Yeah.
Core
memories.
All right, we'll work on that for next year. It's a little late for this year, but next year
you got 2 weeks, bro.
Brian, you can help me. Next year we'll plan for it. We'll do something.
So much on the table, but it's okay.
It's fine. Kaya is really excited. She's gonna be Moana. We already got her costume set up, and then I don't know if remember. There's like a little chicken in Moana. The chicken's name is Hey.
That could be you.
Oh well, the chicken is gonna be Eliza. I already got her costume off of Etsy.
You could be Maui.
I ordered that early. Yo, all the Maui costumes are awful. I looked at them. I was like, oh, I could be Maui, and then I looked.
No,
at
just
them,
homemade.
These are terrible. These are awful. I don't know. Like it's hard to do. It's a hard look to pull off. He's an odd shape. Let's get into it. We're leaving this conversation. I told you I'm not super into Halloween. I love Christmas.
We're gonna keep talking about it anyway.
I love Christmas. Okay. So Savon decided that he could do this, and I'm not sure that I have faith now that I remember him putting candy corn on the list, but we decided
I'm
that
always right all the time.
We decided that we would let Savon rank the Halloween villains, that we would let him and see what he came up with. So we are standing on, what is it? Tenterhooks? Is that what it is? We're waiting on tenterhooks.
What the hell are you talking about?
Isn't that what it's called when you're like waiting? You're anticipating
in what world?
What is coming.
I looked that up. I have never heard that term in my life.
Tenterhooks?
Isn't it tenterhooks?
No, I don't know what it
is. Is it tenderhooks?
I don't know. It's tenter, but I've never heard that term in my life.
Was somebody punking you?
No, it's real. I googled it. It's real. But I've never heard anybody say
waiting.
That.
What does it mean to be on tenterhooks? It means waiting nervously for something to happen. That's us.
Wow,
We're on tenterhooks. I don't even know what a tenterhook is. I always imagine those big hooks that Rocky had the beef slabs like that he was punching, and that's
a meat hook.
Yeah, that's what I'm imagining. But
I hope we're not getting beat up by a.
I can't imagine how the hook from that is related to this. It's probably not. All right, Sav. So you're up. You're doing villains. Am I right? Halloween horror villains.
Halloween movie monsters. Basically.
Okay.
The antagonist of renowned horror movies.
I think you should start at like the lowest. However you set it up, like the lowest here.
Let me cook.
Okay.
Oh, he
I'm
coming
ready.
in the chef's
You just
kitchen,
gotta
man.
give him the ball, my friend.
Okay, here's the
give me the rock.
pass.
Let me run the offense. Dang,
CP3 to Wemby right here.
ISO.
Tall ass motherfucker.
ISO, look.
Yeah, wave us off, man. Wave us off.
Four down. I got this. 4 down. All right, Kobe. Let's go.
So look. So before I get into this, I just went through some of the most famous, iconic horror movies of all time. I decided to avoid the classics because they're just not as interesting to talk about.
What?
Especially for the criteria.
So no, like the birds.
Classics.
We're not doing.
What are the classic classics?
Frankenstein.
Oh, okay.
The OG werewolf, the creature from the Black Lagoon, all that
Okay.
type of stuff. We're not doing that.
None of that
like
yesteryear stuff.
But like 70s onwards, apps is all fair game.
Okay. The Fly.
Absolutely. Those are, so
Texas Chainsaw Massacre is that 70s.
Yeah, those are fair game. Nightmare Elm Street. All. So my criteria of how I ranked them was loosely based in 3 main things I was looking at. How
criteria?
Deadly,
Here we
go.
Had
criteria. Give it to us.
How deadly are they? Like if you're a horror villain,
important,
killing people. How good are you at killing? Some are way worse at killing than others. And
is the body count part of that?
Like yes and no. Part body count, part just like how capable are they of killing someone in any context, right?
Okay. So Thanos, number 1.
Yeah, so just how deadly are you? The next is how volatile you are. So some horror creatures don't discriminate. Some only attack people under specific circumstances or in a specific place. I think that matters because if something's really deadly, yeah, but if it's confined to a limited space, that lowers where they are in the tier list because you can avoid. And some of this I'm analyzing from the perspective of if you're a person, how likely are you to be able to survive an encounter with them? So lower
as
on
opposed
the
to being
list,
a fork or a spoon.
Yeah. So lower on the tier list, it's more of like you could probably get out of this if you play your cards right. Higher up is like, hey man, you're probably cooked. So a mix of temperament. And then also temperament, so like, are they aggressive? Are they vengeful? Are they smart? Do they target specific stuff? Is it a specific place? I tried to weigh all of that in. And just like if you're a person, can you avoid this? Like how easily can you avoid this altogether?
I'm fast.
Some monsters are, there's nothing you can do. Others, it's like, oh, you can get away from this.
The lumbering kind.
Okay.
Yeah.
That follow you, yeah.
So
what about like terrifying, like just scare factor? Is that part of this?
Oh, like Quiet Place, bro.
But usually that ties into how lethal they are because usually it's something scary. There's a psychological element. We're taking that into consideration. But the big thing is you as the viewer or the person, your ability to survive an encounter. I think that was the biggest thing that I looked at when ranking them. So I'm gonna start from F tier, work my way up to S.
F to S.
Yeah. So we're gonna start at the bottom.
That's a lot of tiers.
But some tiers only have like 1 or 2 people in them. So, but I had to differentiate because some people they're not the same, right? So we're gonna start with the Jigsaw Killer from the Saw franchise, bottom of F tier.
Really?
Very lethal. He gets points for that. But ultimately, he's just a dying engineer who needs to see a therapist. And when I think about the Jigsaw Killer,
don't they all need to see therapists? All these villains?
No, because some of them there's nothing to heal. They simply are. But I don't want to spoil my list. But no, that's not true.
Okay, all right.
He is just a dying dude who's like mad at the world, and now he's just an engineer with a bone to pick. If he gets you into the trap, sure, you're screwed. But I just don't see most of us getting efficiently jumped by some old dying dude and then knocked out long enough to be locked into an elaborate trap. That's why I'm disappointed in most of the folks in the Saw movies. But the big thing is you can avoid this. He's an old dude. Don't get jumped. If you do get jumped, I'm confident most of us could avoid, again, a guy who's knocking on death's door in the majority of the movies he's in. He's not really deadly, smart, but F tier in terms of I think most people could survive an encounter. You just can't let him get the pure jump on you. But even having seen a lot of the Saw movies, most people had no business getting jumped the way they did. And I put that.
Isn't he small too? Isn't that
his
part
character's
of it?
entire thing is that he's dying of cancer and is old, and besides he wants to punish people. And I'm like, cool. The engineering, I'll let you get by on that. But you effectively incapacitate, even with your assistants, y'all incapacitating these people. I'm not.
He has assistants? I've never seen these movies.
He has assistants too and successors. It gets complicated. He's dead by the end of like the second movie or something.
Oh.
and there's like 6
somebody
of them,
else takes
right?
over,
And then but it's either way, the way those people would just be jumping you, I think they're pretty low in terms of where I put them on this list.
Okay. You got anybody else on F tier?
Yes, right. Also an F tier. I'm gonna have Ghostface from the Scream franchise.
Oh, I feel like
Ghostface Killer.
It's just a dude with a knife.
That's it, and a phone.
What does it turn out to be? Isn't it one of the friends?
It depends because it's a different person in every movie, and in one movie it is 2 people playing the killer. Regardless, it's a dude with a knife. The average gun-carrying American is more dangerous than Ghostface. Like,
and he's usually calling you up, right?
He tells you he's coming.
He's telling you, he's announcing his presence.
The movies are settled with either a phone tracer or someone with a concealed carry permit. Like we can end the plot to these movies. It's a dude with a knife. I'm sorry. If I could go in my kitchen now, get a knife, and be as equipped as the Scream Ghostface Killer is, what does that say?
And to be clear, I've never seen these either. Does he have like years of knife training or something?
Is a dude. No,
he's like a teenager.
Is he from the League of not Legends? What is it called?
Wes, if I gave you a knife right now, you would be qualified to be the killer in those movies.
Ah, amazing.
Because you're a dude with a knife.
So this guy's like just really like low power, low threat here.
And in that outfit, he's probably tripping over the robe, right?
You got people hanging out. As someone who would dress in as ghost ninja robe garb, you cannot run efficiently in those. I can tell you personally. Again, the average gun toting. Wes, your neighbor.
But you can go to the bathroom really efficiently. You just lift that bitch up and you're going.
Look.
But you got to put the knife down.
The Scream movie would have never taken place in Texas.
Never. No. That sounds terrible. No, yeah.
Or
Everybody's
Louisiana,
got guns here.
or most states. It's questioning because it take place in the United States. It's up in the air. Like I saw one trailer where people was in a convenience.
It could happen in New York City.
I'm like, if somebody don't just shoot this dude or stab him back, like
stab him.
Yeah, seriously.
Y'all can't have a little knife duel, at least even the odds. But yeah, F tier. I don't want to spend too much more time on them.
All right, that feels good. Okay, don't see a threat. I'm with it. F tier.
Right, so now we're in D tier. This one might be a little more controversial. I'm gonna go with Michael Myers.
Ooh, also kind of a dude with a knife. Kind of just a dude with a knife.
But he's in D tier for his freakish strength. But then when I think about how dangerous is he, when does he get out? It's really just a big, strong dude with a knife at a hospital that has crappy security. As long as the people at the hospital are doing their jobs, you shouldn't even have a movie.
But you said he's real strong.
Yeah, he is strong, but that strength isn't why he's able to get out of these hospitals. It's it's plot contrivance and bad security at these places. Just because a dude is strong don't mean you're just a horror movie icon. Also, he's not really someone who's clearly he's shown to be a little bit like developmentally disabled, so he's not like he's someone who's got
it's not a mastermind
plan or doing something. And again, some of it's writing, and there's another character who out differentiate, but like it's not like he's fast or he's sprinting, running people down. He's a dude with a mask and a knife. He gets points for being strong, but he's still in D tier because ultimately he should be in a mental facility. And why y'all keep letting this man out?
Can I also point out that the mask he's wearing is a mold of William Shatner? So, like, that alone should knock you down to D tier. Like, you cannot be scary
he completely
being dressed up as William Shatner.
Is that supposed to be? That's supposed to be William Shatner. That's so funny.
But it's not supposed to be in the lore of the movie, but in actuality, it is a mold that they just took from William Shatner.
Good lord, like an extra piece from like another movie set or something.
Exactly.
Nah,
they did back in the day. They just
these Google images are terrifying of this guy though.
Yeah, I'm not about to look at that.
I'm terrified of him.
All right,
I don't know. I'd move him up a tier. That's me.
So next in D tier, we have Chucky. From the Child's Play franchise.
But like he gives you nightmares.
He gets psychological points, and maybe you can use that to explain why why he can catch you off guard. But this one is just a logistics physics thing. He is a doll. You can run away. Even if you're not a fighter, you have legs. You can just Kaya should be able to outrun a Chucky doll with ease.
All right.
Right? Kaya can run without falling over herself, right?
Well,
like, have any of these victims?
Yeah.
Have they ever even tried to like kick him in the face? Wouldn't that work? Like kick him across the room?
Yes, and I think they have done that before, but he just finds a way to it's pretty contrived. Ultimately, he's a doll. He gets you early on with the stealth of like, oh, he's just a regular doll, and he could catch you slipping.
I gotcha.
But once you're like, hey, yo, this doll has a knife, you're like, all right, cool. I think any person with some sense could say, hey, man, that's not normal. And much like a dude with a knife, a doll with a knife is just not. An old dude with a knife is maybe scary. A doll with a knife is less scary. He's only higher tier because he gets the psychological freak out and he can pretend to not be dangerous as a doll, and that can catch you slipping that first night. But unless he gets you on a surprise jump on the first hit, Chucky should not be a threat to anybody. Ultimately, he's a prisoner who was cursed and put into the doll's body. And so if you're cursed and put into the body, it's a curse. He's probably worse off killing people as a doll than he was as a person. My son just got a huge mobility debuff. And then they said, all right, get back to work.
I don't know.
Chucky can catch you slipping, but everything else, it takes way more effort for him to do than just a dude.
Brian, have you seen the Chucky movies?
No.
I
don't think, if I'm being honest, I don't think I've seen the movies of any of the characters you've named so far.
I don't think
except for Ghostface.
Okay. But like, I wouldn't go see a Chucky movie. That's how terrifying he would be of me. So that's why I feel like that D tier, C tier for him is rough, because it's like, if you're so scary that like I can't go see the movie for you, like you got to be. That's pretty scary.
Yeah, but that's just you letting him win the psychological battle, and that is something that factors.
Fortify your mind.
Like what? That's part of being like scary, though. Is like
but it's a bluff ultimately, because he's a doll who can't do anything.
Okay.
So like, it's one of those. Yes, that is scary, and once you get past that and you can realize, oh, this is scary. It's not actually threatening.
So you don't respect the game.
It's like being scared of spiders.
Yeah, it's like one
non-poisonous spiders.
It freaks out
Venomous.
your head. Or like, it's like seeing a mouse or a roach. It's like, oh crap, but then you're like, wait, I'm simply built different.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But
they're scared of me.
But again, he is D tier for being terrifying and being able to fly under the radar, looking like a doll. You can actually get caught lacking.
Okay.
All right, next I got Pennywise.
Who's Pennywise?
Is that from It?
The clown from It.
Ooh, yuck.
So this one, I had to do a little homework about this one. So the main reason I put Pennywise in C, psychological points, that's his whole game. S tier, right? In terms of getting into your head, deadly, hard to combat because he's like this interdimensional being or whatever he is. The only reason I put him in C really is that he only preys in one area, that town and that the series takes place in. And apparently he only feeds like, what is it, every 27 years or something?
Oh.
So he's basically a horror movie cicada. And if that's the case, cool. I respect the game when he's active, but availability is a huge element of whether you're going to be a higher tiered movie villain. And if you're something that only comes around once in a blue moon, that's scary, but that's pretty avoidable for most people.
Yeah, we could plan around that.
Exactly. Avoid the town where weird shit be happening, or just mathematically, you're just probably Gucci. Like, that's just a numbers game. Oh, you weren't in this specific town on the 27th year, and then you're not a kid in that town, because it only goes after kids, because apparently, according from my homework, kids are easier to psychologically terrorize and do his whole it. So he also loses points for like, yo, you a whole like immortal demon being thing. Why are you preying on kids? Go after some big game.
Don't you think Pennywise should get points though for being maybe partially or majorly the reason why so many people don't like clowns and why they're terrified?
Because when Stephen King made it in the first place, he asked kids what their biggest fear was, and it was clowns. But this is a chicken egg thing,
so it predates.
People's fear of clowns predates it. It was more of a, he realized clowns are so
really did his homework here. Holy cow! Okay.
Hey man, look, I that's why you said just I'm gonna let me look. I take this shit seriously, damn it.
Encyclopedia Vonnie here.
This means something to me, dog.
All right.
Yeah, so he gets C tier.
All right, Wiki Savon, let's go.
Really, if he was just active more, he could totally be a S tier, A tier monster. But he can't pop up every 30 years, dude.
Yeah.
The next sequel, that's what it got to be.
He's like the Kawhi Leonard of this list. Of like,
now though, I'm not a kid, so I'm not
afraid
of him anymore.
I've seen what you can do, but you're just not active, player.
Yeah. If you ain't on the court,
availability is the best ability. So yeah, C tier, and so he's actually our only C tier entry. Now we're getting into B onwards, and I think this is where it really
so these are extra lethal folks. Now.
These are some folks where it's like, oof, if you're in a scenario with them, it is not looking good for you.
Is police on this list extra lethal?
No, because They are not. There's nothing fictional. This is not a fictional story. This is,
and they're not Halloween related. This is all year round.
We're not talking documentaries here. This
we're talking about like fiction.
Okay.
But so on the bottom of B tier, we have the Xenobites from the Hellraiser franchise. Some of you might think of Pinhead.
Pinhead.
The interdimensional carnal pleasures, sadomasochist creatures. I put them in B tier because their power is unknowable. They're extremely difficult to like defeat. You really can't defeat them. They're terrifying. They have all these sick things that involves ripping you apart with hooks, torturing you. If they want to take your life or whatever it is, they will absolutely make it happen. The only reason they're in B tier is because they can only be summoned from a puzzle box that you have to actively solve.
Like Jumanji?
Like Jumanji.
Okay.
But even Jumanji, right? Like just opening the game might screw you over.
Oh yeah,
this
yeah.
is a puzzle. You have to figure it out. So imagine a Rubik's Cube.
So smart people problems.
Look, man. All I'm saying is just don't solve the Rubik's Cube.
Done. Never gonna happen.
I can't do it.
And I read over videos and plots of the Hellraiser franchise. A lot of crap happens. It all starts with somebody deciding to solve the puzzle cube. So as long as you don't solve the creepy, ominous puzzle cube, you can avoid this altogether. That's the only reason you're in B tier, because you can plausibly avoid this altogether.
And you already knew that people that solve Rubik's Cubes are annoying.
Yeah.
They just had to prove it even more.
And people know that the things look cursed, and in the plot, the guy did it because he was a hedonist, and apparently the cube, like, basically it's one of those, hey man, there was nothing, you knew what this cube could maybe do, and there was nothing good that was gonna come of that. Like, it was always some monkey's paw type energy of like, what are you doing, pimp? Whatever you think you're gonna get from it, it's gonna be a crappy version of it. Let's just put the cube down, put it in the attic, and let's just end this all together. So deadly, but it's avoidable. Just don't be a hedonist with a bunch of hubris. I think that's not the tallest order.
Apparently it's a 1987 horror classic, and then there's a remake on Hulu that came out in 2022.
Nice.
For Hellraiser.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Okay. Is that it for B tier?
No, there's a couple other entries in B tier actually. So next I have Samara from the Ring series. Now she's getting mad points. She's coming in a very deadly efficient hitter. Because
is that the one where the demon comes out of TV?
You watch the tape, and after you watch the tape, you die after like a week or something, or a week and a half, some crap like that. And the success rate I've seen is like, hey, no, once you dead, you dead. And if you've seen even parts of the Ring, it is terrifying. So psychological. Ooh. She puts you on like basically a death timer where you're marked for death. That is some higher tier stuff. Again, only reason she's not S tier, similar to the Xenobites, you have to go through a process for her to be in your crap, and you have to watch the cursed tape. She would be higher tier if this was the early 2000s, even mid 2000s. Unfortunately, she's someone who I think is a victim of just technology stepping up. People don't own VHS tapes.
We got her.
We got her. Dweller is really going to just be watching weird VHS tapes with someone who got murdered or something. People know that's the
her potential victim pool is really shrunk down.
No, I think it's actually growing with Gen Z.
Now here's
they're
the
back
thing.
on the VHS.
And I talked about this. Now, if she was able to update her formatting, now let's get her into TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Now, then we have us like we might have an extinction event.
Oh yeah, for sure. If she was on TikTok, oh my god, the algorithm would just serve her up.
That would kill you in a week. There would be a mass extinction. It would be now that, but she doesn't have it. If woulda, coulda, woulda. If my grandma had wheels, she'd be a bike, but she does not. So, much like Samara, deadly, can do a lot, but the setup and it's a little bit dated. She's really been a victim of time compared to other entities on this list.
That's fair. And they haven't done any remakes, as far as I know, recently.
Yeah, and the downside to being any tech-based horror villain is that, yes, you have a lot of accessibility that other villains don't, but you're limited by that tech. And unless you have someone actively upgrading your stuff, you're going to get left in the dirt really quickly compared to a classic ghost who might not have the reach, but they have the consistency. And so
you can always be supernatural. Yeah.
Tech, like I said, dope, but
it's a good point.
Left behind. So good. Now, again, if she can do a nice rebrand, get some Blu-ray, YouTube, really get into
some 4K for real.
honestly, we might have like an S tier who might actually need to get banned, but we're not there, and so we'll see what happens as the updates come out.
Joke's on us. TikTok is already there just by itself. Yay!
All right.
All right. Any other B tiers?
Yeah, rounding out B tier at the top, I have Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Ooh,
brutal,
OG,
violent, psychologically terrifying. Doesn't have that much, like he really much kind of give the action to whoever in terms of killing you, cannibalizing you, all that. Strong, more than just a dude with a knife. He's a dude with a chainsaw. That's a really big difference. He's not in a psychiatric hospital where he should be, so like that's out of place. So he's just there with his cannibal inbred family. That's what separates him from the Michael Myers. You know, the team around you, the location. He's really set up to be a monster compared to Michael Myers, where he's in a city where they're like, hey, yo, chill. Here, out in rural Texas, where this takes place, they don't give a diggity damn. And he can be the true monster he's meant to be. So all that, you might ask, why is he in B tier?
Yeah, why is he in B tier?
Because the character actually, and this is similar to some Michael Myers territory, has shown to, he's really more of his inbred cannibal family's enforcer. And so even though he commits horrific acts, it's really at the behest of his family, because this character also has like a severe developmental disability. And so some of like the agency and to what extent like he's just doing what he's being told from all he knows and all that stuff plays a role. And so that keeps him in the top of B, because even though he's deadly, he requires direction in order to do his thing. And without that direction, the character isn't nearly as deadly as he is. So without a parent, family giving orders of, hey, grab them, dismember them, cook them up, make chili, whatever, then he's kind of like an attack dog in that sense. Deadly,
he's just
but without direction,
chasing his own tail.
Yeah,
otherwise.
Or if he's not getting direction from his family, you could argue he wouldn't do a bunch of the things that he does. He's kind of more of like a following orders rather than a, hey, I do this for the love of the game. He just happens to be really good at the game.
But so, you also bring up Texas, right? So I've never seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but do we have a ghost-faced issue where, you know, open carry state, like,
so it's
done?
The OG movies took place in like the 70s. I don't know what Texas gun ownership has looked like over the last 50 years, but I think, yeah. But here's the thing. A lot of the backdrop of these movies does involve people being stuck out middle of nowhere. But I'll also say that this is a family, and I think they have guns too. So the odds are a little bit more equalized where, hey.
Oh, if everybody got guns. That's
yeah, so I'm saying, so they got chainsaws, they have numbers, they have home field advantage. If you can avoid the area, cool, but they also like to trap people and set you up, so it's not like you just wander into the wrong place. They have a whole system, right, to lure you in, kill you, cannibalize
yeah, they're like,
you.
Come pick these apples. Surprise!
The gun isn't going to always be the great equalizer. It helps, but like, if I was in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I don't think a pistol would immediately solve all my problems, because I feel like I could get shot as easily as they could shoot me, and there's more of them than me, and they got home turf advantage.
Savon was, you know, potentially invited to a site of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre today, apparently, but he survived it.
Absolutely not. I went into a well-populated apple orchard where there were plenty of people. So that rounds out B tier.
Yo, this Leatherface character design is really good.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
It's freaking, yeah, the mask is so terrifying.
Yeah, because it's just all his victims' faces stitched together.
It's just like super disfigured. Ugh.
Yeah.
All right.
So now A tier. We only have one entry for A tier before we get into S tier.
Really?
Yeah. For A tier, we have Jason Voorhees.
Did he play for the Rockets?
No, he didn't. But something to keep in mind, his the first what was it, Friday the 13th? Is it Friday the 13th?
Yes, Friday the 13th.
The first Friday the 13th, Jason's not the killer. It's actually his mother.
Oh, really? Twist.
It's her getting revenge on the people who allowed her son to die. Jason doesn't become the main antagonist until the second movie, and then that's where, you know, the classic Jason, Invincible, all that stuff comes. So he's A tier for several reasons. Psychological factor. The dude's efficient. If he wants to kill you, his body count is pretty efficient. He's got a machete. That's just a step up from God with a knife. And unlike other dudes, Jason unfortunately has some weird supernatural shit going on, and they just cannot kill this man. I have seen
like he's immortal,
where he gets shot. They try to put him down, and he does not stay down, and that is awful, because I'm like, oof, that's tough. He's slow.
So he's
and
got
not
the
mobile,
supernatural
so that hurts.
boost.
Yeah, and I'm like, oof, that's a really uphill battle. Of like, yo, we can't kill.
He's
this
got
thing.
super soldier serum in him.
Actually, though, only reason he's not A tier, really, not smart enough to really do anything super like complicated, and ultimately he's confined to Camp Crystal Lake. And unlike some others, like maybe Leatherface, who might hunt you down, he just wants you to ignore his. He's just more of a territorial dog. Avoid Camp Crystal Lake, which has an urban myth telling you not to go there. So
Oh, because
all
everyone
of the
dies.
warnings are
Yeah.
because it's happened before. So you have all the warning signs. Don't go to Camp Crystal Lake. You'll be Gucci. Jason gonna mind his business.
Wait, so he's just like one of those like off the grid preppers.
I think maybe he's just a groundskeeper.
No, he's like some weird vengeful spirit thing because he did die because his character does die before the first.
Oh,
movie.
okay.
The whole point is that he's a kid who drowned at a camp. That's the whole point.
Okay.
Because of neglectful
and he hates
people.
these teens that just keep having sex instead of doing their job.
It's the mom who does it. That's her motivation for killing them in the first movie. Actually, exactly that.
So she's just Puritan. She's just a Puritan.
Just Puritan. Yeah.
No,
get out of here.
No, she's mad.
It's 21st century.
She's mad because they let her son die because they were doing that.
Gotcha.
So it's like, oh, y'all neglected my son. He died. Beef. She dies in the first movie. Then Jason actually comes back to life or whatever. And now, so A tier, mainly because he's generally limited to Camp Crystal Lake. Avoid the lake. You got the fair warning going in. It's not like it's an unknown story. You'll probably be good. But if you do go, you are cooked. Because despite him walking at a snail's pace, he will somehow catch you. Because the moment he is off frame, he can then teleport to wherever he needs to. Don't let that man go off frame.
This doesn't sound as bad as A tier, but I'm willing to go with it. The unkillable thing is pretty tough.
The supernatural
that
really puts him in A. If you got,
I think so.
He's already dead. You can't kill a man that's already dead.
A bunch of the stuff below this list, especially in the lower tiers, a gun can help you. I've watched movies where they blow Jason apart and he doesn't die. And I'm like, oh shit.
There's no antidote here.
Shit. Should have never came here.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're getting into S tier. These are some of the creatures where I think, yo, man, if there's a movie and they're in it, you should just assume that everyone dies. And most of the time, everyone dies, like in their franchises. So bottom of S tier, we have The Thing.
The Thing? Do I know The Thing from the Fantastic Four?
Not from the Fantastic Four. The Thing was from an old movie called The Thing. It takes place at this Antarctic base, and it's about this shape-shifting alien parasite thing that's basically just a body snatcher shapeshifter killing people around.
Oh.
And no one can figure out what the hell's going on because it's a shape-shifting murder monster.
Yeah.
Like, that's about as bad as it gets. That's efficient. That's psychological. It can imitate other organisms too. It's playing the psychological terror game of turning everybody against them. Because it can shapeshift, it's smart enough to have a plan and actually terrorize you before killing you. It is, I would be terrified. And so, spoiler alert. This is what really puts The Thing at the top of my list. I'm going to spoil a little bit of the movie for you.
Okay.
So this is like the main plot. In Antarctica, a Norwegian helicopter pursues a sled dog to an American research station. The Americans witness the passenger accidentally blow up the helicopter and himself. The pilot fires a rifle and shouts at the Americans, but they cannot understand him, and he is shot dead in self-defense by station commander Gary. And so that starts off the plot of them, trying to figure out what's going on. Throughout this movie, the creature that's The Thing is assimilating creatures and it can imitate them. And we learn the movie that one of the characters who was trying to warn them at the beginning of the base was trying to warn, because they didn't understand the language he was saying. He was trying to warn them about the dog being the thing, but because of a language barrier and confusing, they shoot him dead. So from the beginning of the movie, you actually get a hint that don't trust the dogs. But either way, this creature gets a total victory, screws over everybody.
So everybody's dead at the end of this movie.
Yes. I think they end up destroying the station and somewhat defeating the creature, I think. But like, it's one of those, it's left open-ended. But is there anything else to say? It's a shape-shifting body snatcher that can actually think and plan. The Thing could be in any of our rooms right now and we couldn't do shit about it.
That's crazy.
So
I'm like watching this YouTube clip of it. It's freaking nuts. They're trying to like flamethrow this thing. It's just like, it like comes out of a character is a lot. Kurt Russell's in this movie though, which is kind of crazy.
This image of like this creepy, gross thing, like an animal face with sharp teeth growing out of like a tentacled body that with hair climbing on the ceiling. This is nasty. Like just looking at this, S tier for sure.
And hey,
it's a John Carpenter.
It can
John Carpenter
simulate
movie.
you, imitate you, and be smart. It can disguise it. Like that's anything in shape. Yeah, S tier.
It's a little slow moving for me.
It can shapeshift into a person and not be slow moving though.
Okay.
So like, if it can be in the room pretending to be somebody, it's as fast as it needs to be. So next on S tier, we have Freddy.
Freddy Krueger?
Freddie Mercury.
Oh.
Freddie Freeman? All right. Freddy Krueger. He just seems like he would be lower on the list than like this based on your criteria so far. But I'm interested to hear. Uh-oh. We're having technical difficulties. Is he back? I
just thought Freddy Krueger was a little bit more personal passe, and like you just kind of like make fun of Freddy Krueger.
Yeah. Why is his hands. Well, yeah, but that's also because he sort of became like, people were putting him up in like Halloween and stuff, right? Like, like kids dress up as Freddy, so he seems less dangerous. But I've never seen Freddy Krueger like on screen.
I think I've seen parts of Nightmare on Elm Street.
It feels like these like horror movies really had a renaissance in the 80s. It seems like they were getting greenlit all the time, right? All these characters are coming out of the 80s. So I'm wondering what changed, right? Like they're not super expensive to make. Like doesn't Blumhouse just like make horror movies that are cheap to make because they're like, single set things?
Yeah, I think they've taken a different tack though, where they go more for just, excessive violence and whatever, and less the iconic villain character that, that haunts your nightmares or whatever. It feels slightly different.
All right, we had some technical difficulties. Savon is back with us. Savon, did you want to move on to well, we didn't hear about Freddy. Yeah. Tell us about Freddy.
Freddy Krueger. Pretty straightforward. Freddy Krueger you can't escape him. He's deadly. He can infiltrate your dreams. That's a level of psychological terror that's also just awful.
Can he kill you in your dreams?
Yes, that's his entire thing. Is that now his only real weakness is an S tier that the others don't have, is that he's limited to being in your dreams to kill you, but like everyone.
So I'll just never sleep.
Yeah, I mean that's not really feasible.
And in the movies, there's characters who abuse sleeping pills, or not sleep, the opposite, to stay awake because they know, and they end up dozing off and dying anyway, and it's a gruesome death. But like he can't sleep. You can't sleep. He comes to you in his dreams. He's a burn victim who was also a pedophile, so he's just awful across the board. He has the resume of being a piece of crap both in life and after death. Iconic fit, the gloved claw, kills you in your dreams, and unlike other people on this list, he's having fun with it. He's making jokes, puns, talking his shit.
And he's like campy.
He's a monster, but you gotta respect a monster that loves what he does.
He's a real monster.
Yeah, so he's hunting you down in your dreams while laughing, giggling, cackling, taking advantage of the stuff in your dream to really mess with you, and you think you're awake, but you're not because he kills you. S tier, awful. He got a nursery rhyme about him or some crap. Yeah, man, Freddy Krueger, terrifying. I always hated it because it's like, everyone has to sleep. There's no escaping that. Sleep is a universally shared human experience.
That's fair. How does he? So he kills you in your sleep. Does he use the glove like in the images?
He'll usually stab you with the claw, and then that'll affect you in real life. So people in the movies will be like sleep in their bed, but
and start to bleed out.
Once he kills you, and then they suddenly like stab wounds appear, or they go flying through the air. It's awful. So also an awful way to be found. A bunch of wounds with no
explanation.
Not in your dream.
Damn.
Awful stuff, man.
Also cool that's why it's called Nightmare on Elm Street. I had no idea. All right, Freddy, second place. Do you got last but not least?
The Xenomorph from the Alien franchise.
Is that a Halloween villain?
Absolutely. It's a horror movie.
Yeah.
Alien is like the quintessential horror movie. Just because it has a little science involved, don't mean it ain't horror. In fact, they're probably, they're comfortably.
But is it Halloween? Is what I'm saying.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
For horror movies are popping up during Halloween. Right. This is a horror movie.
I see what you're saying though. It's like nobody's dressing up as a xenomorph.
Not really.
People absolutely dress up as xenomorph
at like Comic-Con, but not in the streets.
I have absolutely seen xenomorph costumes in person for Halloween. Fair enough. I'm not arguing this one, which I'm sorry. But nah, the xenomorph
is it like the part where like they're getting like, like where the xenomorph is latching on, or is it like the one with the big head xenomorph, like the adult version?
People do the baby coming out of their stomach.
Those are the face huggers, which are spawns of the xenomorph, but this is just all them as a collective, this species. So specifically the xenomorph alien, because they're terrifying. They're extremely hard to kill. Keep in mind, the movie they appear in, these are like space marines with space weapons and shit. It's not working.
Not working at all.
The creature can survive in the vacuum of space. It has super hard skin. It has acid blood. So if you do manage to hurt it, 9 times out of 10, you
get burned up anyway.
Blood. They're just straight up strong. They have us, and then on top of that, they're stealthy. They crawl. They make terrifying noises. They're dramatic. They hunt.
They crawl, so they're basically
drool. They're huge. They're doing all the awful things that you just want a horror movie creature to do to get you into psychological terror. Like I said, they are stealthy to where they can hunt you down in a small spaceship and you don't see it coming despite it being a small space. And the icing on the cake of why they're truly S tier, they grab you, impregnate you with this weird murder thing that then bursts out of your chest to repeat the cycle with your friends. Like
the gift that keeps on giving.
The gift that keeps. So in every movie, there's some poor sod who's like, "I'm good," and then they chest starts to hurt, or they bug out. They think they got some gas, and it turns out they have an alien bursting out of their chest to the horror of everybody around them. Before that creature proceeds to kill everybody else.
Yeah.
Xenomorph, man, they do it all. They're terrifying. They're smart enough to actively hunt you down. They don't just do it like a big tiger. They're stealthy and like terrifying with it. If you're getting hunted by a xenomorph, my advice is just take the pill.
Ooh. Ozempic.
You will save yourself.
Oh no, that's not a pill.
You will save yourself quite a bit of trauma.
I wonder if there's some kind of like antibiotic that would work against them, or like anti-parasitic. We got anti-malaria drug.
Maybe an antacid.
So funny enough, in one of the movies, they do try to do something like that with a machine that can like do a high-tech operation to remove the creature from her.
Oh,
okay. They do, but it doesn't matter because the creature is still.
No, I want a pound. No, an ounce of prevention. Right. That's what I'm saying. Like maybe there's like an internal guard you could take against it or something.
All I can tell you is if you watch these alien movies, you will learn more and more, because I actually do like those movies. I've actually seen a lot of them.
Yeah.
You will learn, hey man, there's no beating these things.
You done. Out. Once they got their sights set on you or your area,
and
you're
the
done.
Worst thing is it's hard to escape, because if you leave them unchecked, they will multiply, set up a nest. Like there's no just, all right, let me get up on out of here. It's like, hey B, these things are in the Alien versus Predator movies. Half the time, even the Predators say, all right, man, hold on, we got to deal with these aliens.
Yeah. the Predators kind of become the heroes in those movies, don't they?
Yeah, because the aliens are so
That's how bad the aliens
that the Predator's like, all right, man, hold on. I know we're like, we're jerks because we hunt creatures that are way weaker than us and we pretend it's honorable. But this thing is just like a murder machine straight out of hell. Like, hold on, yo. At least we have like a thought process. These things are just like, nah, kill, replicate, get it out of here. But S tier, if there was ever a thing with a xenomorph, like I said, I'm taking the pill.
Do you have a favorite alien?
What you mean?
You mean movie?
Like movie
or Martian?
No, no. I mean, yes. Which one? Do you have a favorite one of the movies in the franchise?
Honestly, the original Alien is one of the only horror movies I've legit watched. The science fiction made it a little easier for me to take down, but even then, I can't rewatch that movie. That shit's so terrifying.
That's James Cameron, right?
But it's really good.
Apparently, the original chest burst scene was completely like they didn't tell the actors that was going to happen.
Oh,
so their reactions are real.
Oh, really?
No way.
That's wrong.
That cannot be.
Unless it was done poorly, right? And you got bad reactions, like people start laughing.
Dude, like I think they didn't know that the thing was just gonna bust out of their chest like that.
That's crazy. So only the actor that was like lying on the table knew or whatever.
Yeah, the chest burster scene in Alien was created using real animal guts, resulting in genuine. Oh, so yeah, genuine reaction. So yeah, I mean that was a little bit much.
Real animal guts.
But,
that's it. Isn't that a James Cameron movie, or is he in the second one?
On the script, I'm not sure, but apparently in the script they said the thing emerges, but they didn't really say anything else about like the thing emerges doesn't tell you.
Yeah.
Chest burster with all the flair. So yeah, the Alien movies really good. Big fan. Love the Xenomorph. And yeah, unless y'all have any other creatures y'all want me to rank on the fly, like that's my Halloween tier list.
No, I think that's pretty comprehensive. Brian, do you
Alien
have
is Ridley Scott, by the way.
Oh, Ridley Scott. Okay.
Ridley Scott.
Yeah, you got any horror characters that stand out to you?
I gotta say, the Xenomorph and the Thing really are on an entirely different list from the rest of these buffoons. Yeah, these idiots walking around with sharp objects. Like,
yeah,
that ain't nothing to this other stuff.
It's tough. And some other movies I thought about adding in where some movies have ghosts, but like I thought about the Conjuring series, but because as I did my research, the Conjuring series, the creatures in them vary. Like it's not the same demon throughout the franchise, and so I didn't want to have to go through like 6-7 movies that have different antagonists. But like I do think an honorable mention for S tier, A tier, or any type of malevolent spirit that you can't get rid of. Some of them you can exercise or whatever, but like there's other spirits similar to like kind of like Samara, where if they set their face on you, you're screwed. But
yeah, what about like Poltergeist? Is that in that same category?
I wasn't sure how much Poltergeist was horror, and I was kind of like honestly thinking about the ghost was just a little bit less interesting than like actual iconic characters who, you know, exist in our pop culture and movies. They get parodied, so I ended up just kind of leaning away from the more abstract villains, even though they are really fun too. Like I left off The Shining and some of those because I was like,
yeah, I was thinking The Shining.
Dude with an axe.
Yeah,
what about a
situation less so than like a specific villain in like an interesting, terrible way, you know?
What about that Patrick Swayze movie where he's a ghost and then he's like terrifying Whoopi Goldberg?
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
Not a horror movie at all. Somehow it's a romance, which is crazy.
No comment.
Insane.
Yeah, ghost movies
great pottery scene.
A lot of ghosts are. I have nothing to add to that one either.
Have you thought of Jeff Bezos?
Nope, because that's a real dude.
He looks like Casper the Ghost. I do agree with you. Like that we were kind of talking about this a little bit earlier, Wes, about how the horror movies from the 80s where you have these types of crazy characters are very different from the horror movies that we get in more recent years, which
now it's
I
a lot of like
more like the Conjuring style, right? Where there's like a darkness about and like bad shit just happens.
It's a bad vibe scenario rather than a specific being that is the
or there's like sometimes it's like a small girl is like, you know, inhabited with like an evil spirit,
Exorcist style.
That's real hot in the streets
for sure.
Happy Halloween.
Talk about puke. Exorcist. Ew. Green puke from a spinning head.
Ugh. All right.
Try to catch that with a trash can.
So that was the list. In order, F tier, Ghostface from Scream, Jigsaw from the Saw movies, D tier, Chucky and Michael Myers, C tier, Pennywise, B tier, Leatherface, Samara, and the Xenobites from what was it, Hellraisers. A tier was Jason Voorhees. S tier, the Xenomorphs, Freddy Krueger, and The Thing. Woo! All right, friends, let us know. Do you think Sav correctly tiered our I was gonna say Hollywood villains, our Halloween villains, and would you add anybody to the list as iconic Halloween horror villains? But not the classics. We left off the classics.
Well, where just devil's advocate, where would one of the classics fit in? Where would Dracula fall?
So like
if we had to throw him in.
How much killing is Dracula doing? Quite a bit, right?
I don't know.
Well, sort of. He's making them the undead.
Yeah, but isn't he mostly chilling in his castle a lot of the time?
I think he's having a lot of sex. Like there's a lot of orgy stuff happening.
Isn't that Interview with the Vampire? That's a different.
Look, for Dracula, it comes down to like, to what extent are you feeding on blood? Are you minding your business and you occasionally just disappear some people every now and again? Whatever. If you out here waging war, different. I just know how he's getting his blood and to what extent. If it's every few years, is it a sacrifice? Is he just abducting folks? To what extent? Is there a blood dungeon? It's a real big sliding scale between B and S for him, depending on like how chill he is or isn't. Frankenstein's always going to be like a D tier because he's just misunderstood. Frankenstein's monster. The werewolf is also, a lot of the OG monsters were more misunderstood. Like the Invisible Man was just like a criminal, but he's not like some super monster. The Black Lagoon creature was just a swamp thing. Werewolf was just a dude. Like most of them are pretty like, I think they're relatively tame. The OG monsters were more tragic, frankly.
I was thinking that, like, you know, the same way that these characters are terrifying, there's also been some pretty non-horror movie villains who are also pretty terrifying. Like I'm thinking of the guy from No Country for Old Men, straight up like
Javier Bardem.
Yeah, just straight up like a killer, no fucks given.
With the cattle prod.
That kind of thing is just insane. Is that what it was? It was like an air gun.
It was like a cattle
air gun that kills.
Yeah, like through the. Oh man, like that was just like insane. And you know, somebody like that, or even the guy from the girl with the dragon tattoo or something like that. The girl with the hidden dragon. I don't know what it's called. The girl with the dragon tattoo. The person who ends up being the villain there is pretty terrifying. So, yeah, things like that where it's just like, oh my god, like you're just a psychotic, you know, sociopath and you're a serial killer. Like that kind of stuff is also pretty freaky to me. I don't like it, but when you add in like the masks or things that are demons, I guess it takes it up to another level. It's not just a serial killer. All right, friends, we're out of here. Happy Halloween. Hopefully we just made all of you have nightmares forever, because I know I will be having nightmares now for the next 3 weeks. Thanks a lot, Sav. Appreciate it. We're out of here. See you later. Bye.
Nice.
Adios.
Okay, so here's what's annoying.